Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And you can see our faces now. That's cool if you're watching this on YouTube.
You can't see my face, though. That's not allowed.
Can't see his face.
Root Beer actually doesn't have a face.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm
Like
like a
that-
blue-haired anime girl, as far as you know.
It's the equivalent of a Nepu mask, but it's a
course.
cotton bubble.
Of course you have blue hair.
Yeah. All right, so weekly Vanguard podcast, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Thanks to our $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, and Jeremy Lyons. So today we're talking about these upcoming new forms for all of the overdress grade 3s that are revealed, but we don't know the names. And
We
don't
know
what
they
do.
exist.
We know they
We're
exist.
talking about the concept of it today,
Yes.
and then we'll reevaluate our doomsaying once we actually know what they do.
Yeah, I know that I think Card Fight Con put out their mat for next year, and it's just the new Magnolia, and it's like a kit. It looks like the dragon from Neverending Story.
Believable.
So, yeah, Never-ending macro swings. All right. So what do we think about it? About these things being put out 4 sets into this second reboot?
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just, do we think this is too soon?
Do you think it's well, as like a secondary question, like, are they going to be like in sets? Like you have to like pull them?
I hope
Yes.
not.
I think they are.
Oh,
Gross.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, so it's going to mean, well, likely most of the TDs should be kind of like, well, I guess the TDs will end up being obsolete at that point, unless it really sucks, or the TD was really broken.
Yeah.
It's either that or if they end up being almost ancillary, like, oh, it's a good rear guard, but not like I don't. They don't do that with triple Rs much, but there's a chance they could. It could also be like where you have something like Prison, where it has a rear guard ability where you can counterblast to imprison 2 things. So you might still run this as like a 1 or 2 of in Prison if the new Snow is that good.
Yeah. I think the main problems right now are like, what's shit? I'm trying to think. Losing my train of thought already. Wonderful.
It's like me.
Yeah, but I don't have any neurological disorders as far as I know.
Good point. So you suck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what I was saying was like a lot of the cards are like name dependent, right?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest problem that I have right now is that, unless they do the Vanquisher thing where all the new forms still keep the name of the old one, that, a lot of old support cards are going to suddenly become irrelevant.
Yeah, because it seemed that with support cards in the first place, it wasn't like if you have a Eugene Vanguard, it's if your Vanguard is his full name, Eugene, then do this. Which presents a problem because then you got to be like, this is always treated as Magnolia. This is always treated as Seraph Snow. Yeah,
but it's a little annoying. Yeah,
it is. They might have shot themselves in the foot, but
they definitely did.
Because like some of the grade 3 bosses that we got were kind of mediocre on their own. Zorga's a good example. Eugene's an okay example, but that's mostly just rear guard dependent. So having your central mechanic tied to your Vanguard's ability, for example, in something like Bruce, is less of a problem because as long as something has Final Rush attached to it, there you go. It's live.
It doesn't even like necessarily need Final Rush attached to it, right? It just needs to be big. Right?
Oh, the whatever it is you're printing for it, or
yeah.
But I mean, like, because a lot of the rear guards in the deck are like, if you're in Final Rush, whatever those.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did enjoy printing if you're in Final Rush on cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the case of something like Nirvana, though, where you have your central mechanic being on the rear guard, you can still run that sort of stuff, and your new Nirvana can do whatever. Because all it does is really facilitate the setting up of the overdress ability.
Mm-hmm.
And if this new one calls a trick star from deck and then gives it or something like that, might be the better option.
Honestly, I think out of all of them, Magnolia is the only one that's actually screwed over by this. You're welcome, Atlas. Because Magnolia
I can do physical comedy now. What?
Like, I think Magnolia is one of the only ones that's like super reliant. Because everything else is just like prison, like overdress. Bruce is just Final Rush, and then just generic grade 3s for Bastion. I think Magnolia is the only one with rear guards that name it specifically.
Yeah, possibly. I think, well, then that would make it easier because the only thing you have to do the name thing for is Magnolia.
Yep.
Then the rest of it just...
Yeah, so that's less of a problem. Except for Magnolia. You're welcome, Atlas.
We should just turn that into a sound clip. I gotta keep a soundboard or something for shit like that.
Yeah, like, you definitely have some cards that are just, like, generic back row, but then I know the Triple R from set 2 just randomly needed Magnolia as Vanguard.
It did, yeah. I think it's just because it would be too abusable in something like Zorga, where you can then start giving back row attacks to your Alchemagic buffed board.
They could have just made it like an auto-on attack from back row.
What, to give something else 5k and back row attack?
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that. It would be nice just so you don't have to like constantly call new stuff, but one nice thing is being able to use it when you're out of counterblast, and which it wouldn't be able to do if it was tied to Magnolia. So I don't know. I'm not going to nickel and dime this sort of thing, but I think trying to start doing this 4 sets in is a little early.
Yeah, like that's my main concern right now. Is like I was kind of hoping, considering that we're only getting 4 of these sets a year, that they could go the entire year without having to go through a new cycle of boss units, and they already failed that with set 3 by introducing all the new ride lines and encounter cards in general. But like, I'm concerned that, the way D is going right now, that they can't sustain the boss units for one support cycle before having to kind of do everything over again with new ones.
I think what bothers me the most about it is that there are so many things that they could do that are probably good and balanced card design wise that wouldn't require you to make it seems like they're just checking things off on a list. And they're just like, well, it's been a year, time to make new boss units. You're like, don't.
So what if they have the same name and they do something other than Persona Ride?
Interesting. Yeah,
I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, that's another thing, is like the Persona riding mechanic makes it hard to use more than like one boss unit in a deck. Like, unless they just plan on making cross-riding a mechanic the same way they did with Persona riding.
I hope they don't. If they keep the "this is always treated as the other name" thing, then that solves itself. But it also makes Persona riding way more broken because you can do it more often.
Yep.
Although if you're a deck that's doesn't really care, like Barrow Magnus, okay, like it better be real good to outshine.
Yeah, I guess this also begs the question of what they're gonna do with like the set 1 boss units. Like, are those gonna keep going as they are, and just kind of be left behind as the TDs get new units?
Arguably, they already have. Zorga, for the most part, like will get like a triple R or double R, and it's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zorga needs a lot of help.
Yeah.
Or needed a lot of help, but if they're gonna print a new one, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eugene got a good amount of help, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Regardless, like the Nirvana decks were just better at every stage. Like
Mhm.
sometimes the Nirvana decks weren't even necessarily good; they were just better.
Draconic Overlord too. Like that
Yeah.
has a good amount of support. Where like if you want to play a red deck, Magic fans, you just like pick another one. Eugene is better in premium than it is in standard, which is very Eugene of it almost like that.
And not even by that much. It's kind of a gimmick deck, right?
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And one of the cooler decks I've seen in premium, where they're like doing wacky shit with.
It is a deck in premium. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more like that. If you know of any more, please at Nexus at Night, because this thing.
It's just waterfall people. Waterfall people.
What's the deal with the whole waterfall?
Oh, you just get a bunch of crit and say no sentinels. What's the problem?
Oh, okay. So nothing that wasn't already being done. I thought there was something else to it.
That's correct.
Oh, okay. By the way, you saying that's correct instead of that's right or yes, I've been doing that on the phone at work more because of you. It's like because it sounds so much more like audioly distinct. Over
right.
the phone.
And I think the other issue is whenever you have a conversation that's like ever has to use direction, it's a problem. And so I just hate being in a conversation where I'm talking about like the right side of an equation or something, and I say right, and then they're like, or we're talking about the left side even. And I'm like right, and they're like, okay, then they look at the right side for some reason, and I'm like, no, I meant
no.
Yeah, so no, I just always say correct, rather than right.
Yeah,
or at least I try to. Unless if it's contextually like not really that important, I don't really care. But I just like to keep the option open.
Well, because people also use right usually as space filler. Right, yeah, of course. Right. And then that's correct is like very, distinctive. So it's...
For more content like this, patreon.com/Nexus at Night.
He did it!
$5 I thought the conversation was going to end like several sentences beforehand.
Nah, that's the fun part. So, I think the most annoying part would be having this being done so early that you got to redo your deck. But with the sets having so many months in between, unlike before in V era where it was something coming out every month, it's still about like a year in between having to upgrade your deck on like a big scale, like having to redo your boss monster. So maybe 4 sets isn't so bad. I'm just trying to
like
look
6 months.
Yeah, but 6 months is that so bad?
I mean, kind of depends, because I don't know. I was kind of hoping they could take the format a bit slower, but we've already had a lot of problems out the gate with multi-attack being as strong as it is right off the bat. The power level came out really high, shield values were low. I think there's still a lot of fundamental problems with the format, and I don't know how new units are going to alter that. Because if they're weaker, no one's going to use them. And if they're stronger, we're just running into the V problem where the power creep grows faster than Bushiroad that can support the game. Unless this is basically a soft reboot where they try to invalidate all of the problematic support cards, which is probably not happening considering they're still making Virinas.
I also don't think they would be fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on you again.
God, I hope not.
I don't think they're gonna fool themselves 3 times. I don't think they're gonna...
Could you imagine?
Okay. What they did with the premium ban list was
Good.
Yeah.
and I think that they're on the right path enough with that I think they'll make at least an okay decision. If they manage to like land on that razor's edge of it's a preference, then they definitely threaded that needle. But that's very
Almost
hard
certainly
to pull
not,
off.
because they need people to buy the new product.
Right.
Mhm.
And D sets are not exciting generally, so
No.
Yeah.
Except for the lyrical Monasterio one for whatever
I
reason.
mean,
No one...
Cats is a cool deck.
Yeah. Like, I mean, part of the problem, like, the reason why they keep printing new boss units is because that gets people more interested, right?
New people.
Mm-hmm.
With old people... What?
Honestly, I feel like even with old players, like, it's something new and exciting rather than, like, altering your existing deck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like the idea of you're playing this thing and this new grade 2 comes out that like can either change the whole thing or like fills that hole in the deck strategy that helps like Magnolia being very weak to removal now has this antelope thing. It's not going to fix the deck completely, but it's something that it needed help with, and that combined with the Trident grade 1 that's supposed to work with Flagbird, but you can use it in Magnolia. Definitely helps the deck fight against stuff that can just blow it up every turn.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would prefer just like incremental changes to the deck too, but I think overall, if you're getting people to buy sets, like having a new flashy unit is probably more enticing business-wise than like incremental support cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically having a quote new flashy unit, like it's a grade 2, but it's triple R.
Mm-hmm.
So that I know you're talking about like the main grade 3 boss unit or whatever, but this still did a lot for it at the time, and it definitely got me more excited. And to those listening to this, it's the Fox grade 2 for Magnolia.
Are these TDs out of print already?
No,
the old TD. I don't know.
My local shop still carries them, and they still restock them fairly often. I'm not sure if that's the case everywhere. This is just, but I think if it's out of print, they would have stopped restocking it.
You'd think. I was just wondering. I guess people only need one, so it's not like people need to buy 4 of them, like for the old TDs.
Oh yeah,
or 2, I guess, for the less old TDs.
I know there's this one guy who, whenever he builds a deck, he's like, I need 4 of the shiny, whatever it is, so he'll buy the 4 TDs anyway.
Yeah, there are people.
I got my 4 shiny Nirvanas.
But they're gonna print. We already knew they're gonna print shiny Nirvanas eventually, anyway.
Yeah, and they have the super special, awesome SP looking one. Where
sure.
Or did they? No, that was Trickstar. They did it with, right?
Yeah, that's the DSR.
It's probably a better investment, to be honest.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, especially because I don't know. Nirvana was such a perfect example of how to do a grade 3 boss that doesn't directly tie your deck central mechanic to it. Like it helps, and it is a really good grade 3 boss, but your main thing is over there. I have something in my eye, sorry. And now that's something I have to worry about. Before I would just rub my eye like there's no tomorrow.
Just just take out your eye, pick it off, and then put it back in. What's the problem?
Oh, okay, yeah. then I'll call my my eye surgeon dad with Parkinson's to come fix it. That'll be awesome.
So we need to be able to just clean off your eye and put it back easy.
Yeah.
It's like cleaning the mouse ball in an old mouse,
Oh, like one of the big ones.
No. Like so mice in ye olden days used to have a ball in the bottom instead of a laser.
Oh,
and the ball would spin and move the cursor.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to clean that off every now and then.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like where the cursor itself doesn't move, there's a ball that you roll with your finger on the top. And then
that's a trackball or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people didn't use those very often.
Yeah.
Some people thought they looked cool, but most people didn't use them.
Like my dad. My dad thought it looked cool.
Yeah, it's good if you don't do anything of import, like of needing like precision or anything. It's fine, but If you need precision, I would not use it.
I think it was so he could like zoom in and out on like optical pictures better, because it's easier to just do it with one finger. And this was before the days of the roller in the.
Oh, that could be true.
Mouse. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is like early '90s that he was doing this.
Yeah. Whatever that looked like in the early 90s.
Very kind of. It looked like somebody put a snow globe in like a singular mouse.
Oh.
Yeah. So, was there anything else to this that we wanted to bring up?
No, I think my initial idea for this was just like our first impressions on the idea. Like, do we think Bushiroad is going to screw it up?
Yes. No.
Wait, is it only the first wave of bosses? Like only the TD bosses that are getting?
As far as we know so far.
Gotcha. So Bruce,
Mhm.
the whatever the police girl is,
Yeah.
Bruce,
Nirvana,
Bastion, Snow,
Magnolia,
Nirvana,
Bastion.
Magnolia, and
Uh-huh.
that's it.
So
Yeah.
I guess like,
Yeah.
it's like probably fine. Like,
Mhm.
what could Bruce forms do? Bruce's form do, right?
Mhm.
Well, based on how Bruce has gotten support so far, it'll probably be something like, beginning of your turn, final rush, and then on
No, it's gonna be
attack.
hell hard.
On attack, stand two of your rear guards. Your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand and make them take a damage. No cost, just gonna happen that way.
Look at your opponent. Choose 2 cards, discard them. Look at your opponent's hand. Choose 2 cards, discard them.
Make eye contact with your opponent. Have them understand that on the inside you are superior to them because you're playing Bruce. That's written on the card.
That's true. That's true. Bruce is pretty neat. But yeah, so like the ones that like I would look at are like Bruce, Bastion, because they're like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, like they have to bring the power levels down on those, which means you're probably just not going to play the new ones unless they have radically different mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, are they gonna have like Nirvana can have different mechanics though?
Yeah, like
it would be like you'd be saying like every previous bit of support is useless.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like that's where I think the problem with these is like we're not at a point where the game is old enough that they could probably try something like that. Because they do that occasionally when they introduce new mechanics like Limit Break and all of that. This game has been going for 10 years. We've gone through a lot of different mechanics.
But it's like the main character, right? So they have to like at least keep with the theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking like right now they can't pull something like a Limit Break where they just radically again for like the umpteenth time. Plus, it's only been like 6 months, so they really can't afford that.
But they could definitely do something that's not Persona Ride.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't really consider because
I brought that up at the start. Like, if they did something with like cross riding.
Yeah.
Because this is something that it being part of everything isn't. It's very hard to kind of decouple that from the Overdress era in general because it's really good.
It is a little too good, yeah.
Yeah.
It causes a lot of problems with how big the power gets because it's a continuous effect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like makes turns really strong on the Persona Ride turn.
Like even when you have an order like Hellblast Full Dive, which like mimics the effect, it's
but then you're sometimes doing both, right?
Yeah. Plus 20k to my front row and draw 2 cards. Good stuff.
Yep.
Easy. What's the problem?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure what they could do. They could always like errata what Persona Ride does because there's no effect there. It's just a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's easier to move. What?
I would find that hard to believe. I don't think they would go something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it would be easier to do than with something like, I don't know, when we were talking about premium and like dealing with the ban list, with the whole stand trigger thing, where they were just like, yeah, it's just a new rule of the game. If your rear guard gets drive checks, they only get it once. Like it was so easy to put into play, as opposed to just being like, ban these 6 things and then deal with it as it comes up. This is a symbol that you just change what it means. That's it.
That would be, I think, not a good idea. Like typically, when you define symbols in games, you want them to have a pretty static meaning, so that they're just not confusing based on which era of the game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I feel like if
I think
you do that once, you got to get that right if you're going to do it.
Yeah, it would be more that like you would choose one of 2 effects, right? So yeah, you could still do the 10K to front row,
Gift
or do
twos.
something else. Yeah, basically.
Fuck. So instead of the drawing plus 10K, it would just be like plus 20.
I couldn't. I mean, something like that, or just like, just something else, right?
Yeah.
Like draw 2 plus 5. I don't know, just making stuff up. But I don't think it. But it can't be like that. That non-impactful, I guess.
Oh, like for
It
the
can't
game
be
itself.
worse than what we already have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Drawing 2 and giving plus 5 to my front row would be quite nice.
You sure? Is it
yes.
better than draw 1 plus 10K to front row necessarily? I mean,
Depends who you are.
I guess, but if you're really looking to hit hard, and like sometimes, like people when they're you're going for Persona ride, you would like the game to be at least near ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the 5K versus a card is like a pretty large in favor of the 5K, I think, just situationally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's kind of upsetting that I don't know what else they could do like with as far as like Persona ride or on ride mechanics without either making a new one or extending the current one. But I don't even know how you'd extend the current one.
Yeah.
In a way that's like comparable without being like lame.
Mm-hmm. You also can't have it be too many moving parts, because if it's like you draw and countercharge and give 5, like to do that, that's too many things. I think drawing and giving 10K to your front row that you can't turn off is so simplistic. Like I think you get 2 things done by doing the Persona ride without it getting too complicated. Especially if Overdress is being used to teach new people, which it typically is. You're trying to like pare it down to the fewest number of moving parts possible. Because I don't know if you've ever tried to teach someone Yu-Gi-Oh, but
Nope.
if I wanted to teach someone Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd be like, come back with me to my time machine back to 1997.
When the game first came out.
And I will teach you about something called tribute summonings. And that's it.
Nobody uses those. Why bother teaching them? I don't understand.
Yeah, you'll be like, what's this about Link summoning? Forget
honestly, the best way to learn Yu-Gi-Oh at this point is probably just get thrown into the middle of like a game and just keep ramming your head into it until you figure out what your cards do and how to play. Like, just keep reading cards, taking forever, and then eventually get corrected on every move you make.
And then
I was going to say, the first half of that sounded like a Yu-Gi-Oh episode, like, you are given this deck and you are chained to the floor. If you lose, you get sent to the Shadow Realm. And then you figure your shit out.
Yeah. But, like, it's so, like, I don't think, like, any kind of simplification of Yu-Gi-Oh would be helpful for playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, what tribute summoning is just not a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to sacrifice my units?
No,
God,
you just link them off.
Exactly.
Link them off. Turn them into...
Cherubini, dump,
like,
easy.
Yeah,
Struggle.
I'll just
Moral
link them
sword.
off, and then I'll get an effect that lets me summon this 8-star monster for free.
Do we think that doing, trying to teach, people via Overdress makes it easier to transition into premium?
No. Like, as soon as you get into premium, you then have to get into striding, the rules around striding, GB. What else is there? If there are old keywords still being used, which certain strides you can still do that with, you have to explain those as they come up.
I think once they understand the basic mechanics of writing and calling, which take like one game, then they can just like immediately extend it to striding and whatever. I don't think it's like huge deal. You can start. You can pretty much start anywhere in Vanguard. The game's not like super complicated.
Not yet. Time machine. Let's go. I
mean,
know
I would be shocked if we reached a point where it was complicated as, say, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Like
most Yu-Gi-Oh is an incredibly complex game.
Yeah. Thankfully, Bushiroad has done a good enough job of just outright explaining how cards are supposed to work on the cards.
Mm-hmm. Like even simplification text, which I know we've not railed against it, but just been mildly annoyed with it in the past, is definitely helpful.
I mean, we make fun of it.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever like been annoyed by it. We like poke fun at it whenever it comes up, but like it's good that it's there.
What do we mean by simplification text? Sorry.
So an example would be like something. Give your unit 5,000 for each. Each face down card in damage zone, and then in parentheses that's 15,000 if you have 3 face down, like that.
Yeah, like
whatever. Yeah.
But we've made fun of those before, but like there's nothing wrong with that. It makes the game much easier to understand, and I'm glad Bushiroad is doing a good job of just explaining the rules on the card themselves, so that there's no ambiguity.
Yeah, I mean Vanguard players can't read anyway, so I'm not sure how it helps. Because, like, if you could read, you would see that it says for each card in your damage zone, and you can make the deduction that if you have 3 cards, it would be 3 times 5, which is 15.
Yeah.
But, math is hard or something.
It is. It is incredibly hard. So says the English major on this podcast.
Do you know that my advisor as an undergrad was both a math and had degrees in both math and English?
No way. He had the key of time. That's how you get the key of time. It's to major in both math and English.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. And now that I've had a lot of math, I can understand why that would be normal, actually. Math turns into a lot of writing.
Makes sense. I know that in like coding, they call that unicorns if you have had both design and coding like training. Because like the in like Silicon Valley type companies, those two things are usually opposed to each other. But if you have a guy in the middle who's like, that needs to do this and that needs to do that, it helps like bridge the gap between the two.
You know anything about that? But I just know that like math at a high level is a lot of writing. It's kind of like how the sciences turn into a lot of math. Math just turns into a lot of writing.
and then writing turns into a lot of depression. So. Yeah. Just look at Hemingway.
But it probably does help to know like math and science in case you need to actually incorporate those things into what you're writing.
Oh yeah, that's always a good time where you read a like sci-fi story. I'm like, that's not even close. I'm not even good at it, but that's not real. Come on.
Utilizing multimodal reflection sorting.
Yeah, something has the word quantum in it. Yeah, you know it's bullshit.
Quantum leap.
Hoping the next leap would be the leap home, which I guess that counts for this podcast, right? We're the leap home. Because I got nothing else to say. Maybe we should talk about these meteor reveals that we got.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We got some of those. I read the meteor, and that was it.
All right. So I have them pulled up here. So if anybody doesn't remember, the meteorites are these orders. You can run 16 of them in the deck. When they're put in drop zone, they retire the opponent's thing, and then
Whoa, this one can't be played at more than 4.
That was just the original meteor.
Yeah, the original meteor can be 16, and was 1 per box for some reason,
which is ridiculous.
For a common
smoking.
Yeah. But this meteor, you can only play 4, but it counts as 2 meteors in your order zone.
Yeah, so
I guess that means you can play 20 meteors now.
Yes. Falling Hell Hazard, when you would count the number of meteorite cards in your order zone, put for drop of your Vanguard's ability, counts as 2. And then when put from your
when you put it into your drop from the order zone, you can bind it. You have to bind it, and then retire a rear guard so that you can't abuse the ability to like have double meteor.
What is there stuff that like puts meteors in from drop now? What's going on?
I think there were.
I see one now.
Yeah, Gravidio Shergo. Grade 2, 10k. Act on rear once per turn, Soul Blast 2. Choose up to 5 meteor cards from your drop. There you go. Return to your deck and shuffle. If you return 1 or more cards, it gets plus 5k. If you return 3 or more, it gets another 5k. And if you return 5, it gets another 5k.
All right, I think this card should have a different effect if you return 5.
Yes.
Yeah,
agreed.
probably
Like-
should have.
It should
Crit.
I don't know. No, plus 5k, like search for a meteor or gain a crit. I don't care. Give it a crit, sure. Give it a crit, search for a meteor. I don't care. I just think it getting 5k again is lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary at Boucher would be like, wait, I wasn't supposed to copy paste that a third time? Shit.
It's crazy too, because I feel like this must have had a different effect, for the third one at some point in development. And then they're just like, no, let's not do that, and then just made it 5k. So now it just becomes 25, or no, 25.
There was a Gravidia double R last set that literally just gained 5k, and I think that was all it did.
Oh my god. Ugh.
Vomit.
And then we have Gravidia Baku Burrito? Baku
Burrito.
Baked Burrito.
Yeah,
Alright,
baked burrito. There it is. Yeah.
When this is placed in rearguard circle, you can Soul Blast 1, choose a meteorite from your drop, and put it in order zone. So that's why the new meteorite binds itself. And then on rear, if your opponent's rearguard is retired this turn, it gets power plus 5,000. And if 3 or more are retired, it gets crit plus 1.
See, this one did it right.
Yeah, so this one has crit plus 1. Why not give the grade 2 crit plus 1? Screw it.
Oh,
Have
sure.
all your rearguards with a crit. Who cares?
It's a 3 attack deck. It kind of has to have that.
You're probably using Bobble Mine in this deck, not so much for the counterblast, but for the soul charging.
Yeah,
There's a lot of soul
soul,
blast
huh?
Yeah, I think everything in this deck has... Oh, but the Meteor Soul Charge.
Okay.
Mm.
That's something at least.
If
Yeah.
only you had a way to put back Shurgos so you could just go forever. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you just keep sending back your Shurgos to send back meteors and then send back more Shurgos. Just to never deck out.
And then, of course, I guess while we're here, we can also talk about the new TD with the whole arms mechanic.
The what?
Okay, yeah. We kind of skipped this one because of our little 2-week interlude there. So please take it away.
So yeah, there's the new trial deck for it's not listed on the wiki.
It's
There it is.
the Dragon
Card deck.
Empire, right?
Yeah, the Dragon Empire one with Bavsargra. So her mechanic is that you have these order cards that are equipment that you put onto her, and they do different things.
Oh,
And
they're
then-
equip gauges. Got it.
More like equip cards from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like, you literally put them on your Vanguard.
No,
circle,
I was just
right?
making a joke.
Yeah.
You can have 3 cards on your Vanguard circle now, Atlas.
Take that, Legion.
Wait, you can only equip one card at a time?
No, I think you can have up to 2. So they specify left and right arms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Do you think there's going to be a unit that can hold multiple? Like more than 2?
that would be absolutely hilarious.
They
I
should
don't
do
see
it.
why not.
Just
Yeah.
put somebody with 4 arms and they can hold 4.
Wait,
So, yeah.
so by that logic, left arm, seizure bracelet, right arm, watch. There you
Yeah.
go. I'm the arms mechanic.
Yeah. So you can have sword and shield, and then I think they're adding gun in the set.
Gun. Nice.
Yeah.
The third
Seems pretty-
Pokemon game nobody wanted.
Yeah. It's literally sealed blaze gun.
God, that's hilarious.
She just has this big magic shotgun with wings.
Yeah, I just kind of zoned out during all these Shaman King reveals. I just
Yeah.
missed this apparently.
Me too.
Yeah,
this
so
also came out during the ban list, and we were just like, oh, that's more interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
we
yeah,
do have event dates for the BRO
Yeah.
for premium, V premium, and standard. It's in December. Well, 2 of them are in December, and then one of them is in January.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Come-
December 4th, 5th, premium.
Okay.
Come watch us job.
Oh, yeah. We should probably do that. I think I'll...
Wait,
yeah,
we'll have Hill Guardians by then, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Why? Because Hellheart 8 doesn't want Hill Guardians. You poor
Unfortunate.
bastard. Yeah. All right, so I found the card. So the ride line on the way up is so when you ride the grade 0 with the grade 1 Soul Blast, search your deck for the sword or the shield, which we will get to. And then on rear, it gets plus 2k. The grade 2 is when placed on Van by riding over that grade 1. Choose an arms card from your drop and put it into your hand. And then when it attacks, if your Vanguard is armed, it gets plus 5k. That's on rear guard circle. All right, now to the actual arms. We have Seal Blaze Shield, Sowayanba.
Sure.
Yeah. So left deity arms on the girl itself. After being played, the specified Vanguard arms it. If a new left deity arms is armed, put this card in drop.
I hate this.
I hate this so much. You play it with a counterblast 1. Auto on Van once per turn. When the unit armed with this card is attacked, the armed unit gets plus 10k until end of battle. So
Okay, so like protects your unit.
Yep.
yeah, so it's a
but only on Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think it's just the first time it's attacked.
Right.
Yep.
So you don't get to be like, I'm just going to guard with this one with the 15k and then with. That's annoying. I feel like it should be allowed. Optional.
It would be nice.
I don't remember knights going into battle with their shields like this being like, it will be right here when they swing the sword, and then I will be done with it. I will not have any agency whatsoever. And then Seal Blaze Sword Prithvi is, same thing with it's got to be the right arm. If a new right arm is placed, put it in a drop. You play it with the Soul Blast, and then auto on Van. When the unit armed with this card attacks, the armed unit gets plus 10k. And at the end of the battle, if your opponent's damage zone is 4 or less, you can counterblast 2 and put it in drop and deal a damage to the opponent's Vanguard. So
that's neat.
Yeah. It's like reasonably high cost for a burn, and then it's also optional, so you can just keep the plus 10k power.
Yeah. And then
you can retire your opponent's front row and get crit +1 for Soul Blast 2 if you have 2 arms on the Buffsargra.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you soul charge, and you can and when it's armed, you can soul charge 1 and call a grade 1 or less from drop.
Nice.
You have to get the TD arms by riding up.
Yes.
I see. So these are kind of the only ones you're going to have for a bit.
Yeah, until set 4, where they will release a spear and gun.
Gun.
Yeah.
Do you think the spear will be a 2-handed arm?
No, I think we've already. Actually, no, I don't think they've released skills yet, so it could be. But
I hope the gun is the shield hand.
No, they've already released artwork, so we already know that gun is left arm and then spear is right arm, just based on artwork.
Okay, cool. So the gun is the shield arm. Perfect.
Yeah.
One thing that sucks about back in the day with Legion, when you would have to make your Vanguard attack, you'd have to either awkwardly move 2 cards with your whole hand, or you would just pick up the Vanguard and do that, which was also kind of annoying because it's bumping against this other thing. Now you have 2 of those, and they're on either side of it.
And you only have so much space for your actual rear guards too.
Yeah, so you gotta awkwardly. Gross. Not looking forward to that.
I think this deck looks fun, and I think the grade 3 has a pretty good skill. It's more specific than the other ones, but as long as it maintains the armed mechanic, that's not too hard to replace either when they inevitably make a new grade 3.
Yeah, and easy to design for. Just keep adding arms that you see fit. And then
the rear guards can do whatever.
Yeah.
So what's the most cards we can get on Vanguard Circle now? You could stride on over her, right? And then put 2 arms on it. That would be 4 cards?
Yeah. Are there any strides that effectively Legion?
In Dragon Empire?
Yeah.
Not any that I know of. I was going to say, Crystal Luster and whatever the chain, Whips and Chains Shadow Paladin guy copies your heart so you can do the Legion thing, but I don't think it...
But yeah,
there's
that's not
nothing
Dragon
for-
Empire.
Yeah, there's
So yeah, I
nothing
think
for-
right now we can only get 4 cards on the Vanguard Circle. That's unfortunate.
Oh, it only gets 10k on attack until into battle.
Mhm.
Dang. I was trying to look for like a random Dragon Empire re-standard and see if you can keep stacking power. That'd be funny.
I mean, if you're looking for Dragon Empire Restandard, look no further than Overlord. I'm sure there's
Yeah, but
something
also the armed cards specifically, I think.
name her. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which actually, no, that is going to be a problem for future support. Is the arms cards being designed for specifically this version of the boss?
Yeah.
I also don't like that the ride line searches for specifically the 2 arms card mentioned. I wish it
Yeah.
just got any arms card.
Yeah, like get a left arm, get a right arm, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Well, the grade 2 searches for any arms card.
From your drop, right?
Yeah, but that's
But,
still
like,
something.
The grade 1 has to get either the shield or the sword,
Mm-hmm.
which I was kind of like, just why not get
Why?
anything?
Yeah. See, I
Like
shooting
grabbing
yourself
arms,
in the
and they want you to discard the arms to like basically
Right.
go for free with the
Mhm.
other one. But like
You
at
can-
that point, why not just get any arms?
Yeah, they did the same thing with the frickin' Nirvana ride line, where it only searches the original Virina.
I'm actually that. Well, I mean, imagine if it got arcs every time, right?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty annoying. But like, still, I think that would be annoying, but not as bad. Or it would be. I think that would be still like be worse, but I don't know how good the other arms are, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
I'm just upset that it feels cheap to only get these sword shield, which if they as these get worse, it's kind of like I mean, they just kind of force you to play at least one or the other.
Yeah.
Going by this that same metaphor with the shield with the sword,
Mhm.
you're like attacking the guy with the sword, and then you're like, "I'm done," and then you throw it at a guy and leave.
Yeah.
That mental image just makes me laugh. Man,
Yeah, actually,
I'm fine.
you throw it at them and then punch them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how
Because-
it works because
yeah.
it does it on attack.
No, so you like stab.
Oh, it's at the end
guy-
of the at the end of the battle. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so you stab someone with it, and you're like, "Up, wait, it's stuck now. I guess the sword is gone."
Yeah. And then, yeah, that's how they do it in medieval times, right? They put a sword through a guy's chest and then punch him in the face. All right. I got nothing more to say about this kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for listening to Nexus at Night. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Nexus at Nights. You can help support the show, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Thanks, Darren, Cole, Josh, and Jeremy. They get, they're $10 patrons. If you throw even $5 a month, get a whole ass bonus show with us three. A couple weeks ago, I had our friend Rice and my girlfriend as the tangents for that episode.
How's that?
So weird. It was very weird.
Mm.
It was mostly them yelling at me about horror movies. So
Nice, as you deserve.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay. We'll try to make up for it one of these days by just grabbing random people and recording our own bullshit.
I mean, it wasn't your fault. It was my fault because I had a show, and then that threw.
And then we had to do the
whole
Outer Orange stream, so we couldn't do it in the afternoon.
thing. Yeah, but
And
still pretty fun.
Matt works on Sunday nights, which is awful.
I'm sorry.
No, that sucks. We're sorry for you. Where
Like,
can
it's
they
awful
find
for
you?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums 2Gs2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Hopefully, next time they will put their handles next to the window. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you
It's
can
right
just
there.
read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can find me at Atlas Novak as the thing implies there. Check out my other podcast, Generation Dan. It's Gen X, Y, and Z arguing about X, Y, or Z topics. That's at Generation Dan on Twitter. And thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night.